What's up, YouTube? I'm back at it again with another video. In this haircut tutorial, the barber Montu, that works with me in Lavish Barbershop, he needs a haircut. You can see the before, and basically, yeah, we're just going to prepare the hair right now. We're brushing it down, going with the grain, just preparing it before we get started. That's very important to always prepare the hair before you get started cutting it. And today we're just going to do a high ball taper with a number 1 against the grain. So right now I'm just doing a 1 against the grain, going up. And right here, I'm just going with the grain, so I won't cut none of his long hair. So that's what that technique was for. Now I'm going to back against it. I got my comb to protect the long hair from cutting it. So now I got that bulk out the way. I'm doing my first guideline and to the corner of the hairline, matching up to his eyebrow. So that's how I get an even taper, is by measuring it with the eyebrow and the corner of the lineup. Now I'm using my Andy shavers and just making it bald. Now I got my Wall 5-star senior cordless. I got my lever all the way open, making a second guideline. Now I'm gonna close it and get that line I just put in and take it out. So it's just like a puzzle. Put in and take it out. Taking out that guideline I put in. Just working back and forth with the lever. My lever's closed right now. Now I got my 0 guard on, making another line upwards against the grain. So once again, I got my 0 no guard on, and just mess with that contrast. Got my 0 guard back on. I got it open and close, messing with the lever back and forth. That's really what it is when you guys are cutting these hair, doing these haircuts. It's always important to mess with the lever. Let that be your best friend. Know your guards, your clippers, your products, all that stuff. So just going back and forth, it's gonna be a lot of that to get that contrast. That's the most important thing, is the where you start to blend off at. Get it nice and tight for the definition. Make the haircut define, make it pop out, make that blend, be blurry. So even when you use the corner of your blade, you'll start to use it a lot when you start to see little areas that you want to get like little dark spots. So comb it out. So I'm going kind of higher with my 0 guard because I see the blends coming together. Don't be afraid to cut the hair, especially when in the beginning. It's important to observe the hair, but don't be afraid to mess up. Now I'm going with the grain, just knocking that bulk down, knocking the dark spots down. Now we're going to start the back. I'm finishing off what I did to the side, with that 1 guard against the grain. Just going up against the hair. Against the grain means you're basically going against the hair. You're not going with it. So I already made that first guideline with my Wall Retro T-cut. First guideline is always important to any haircut that you're doing. That's what it's going to start the haircut off at. So I already made that first guideline. Now I got my walls again and basically going about a ½ inch up. Then I'm gonna play with the lever back and forth and just get that line that I put in and take it out. Now I got my 0 guard on and going about another ½ inch up, making that other guideline. Then I'm gonna do the same thing as I did before, just take it out You know, I'll probably take the zero guard off and just fade that. Yeah, I'm gonna fade that line out with, without the zero guard. So now I got my zero guard on still, and I got to open this time. And I'm brushing my hair also. You know, got my brush in my hand, so brushing the hair down with the grain, as you can see. Sorry if my arm was in the way, but you know, the camera, I was just in the zone cutting. Alright, now you can see I got no guard on and just making that blend nice and tight before I move on to the lineup, and just going back and forth until I get that definition that I want. Alright, now I'm using my modified GTX with the Black Label Edition blade on it, and I'm just gently tapping the neck, letting the clippers work for me. I don't got to put a lot of pressure. They're just working for me, you know. And I'm going to use the back of the blade to get that neck hair, you know. Now I'm going to pull the air down and just let the blade work for me, get that round. And you can see the definition. I'm not pushing hard at all. I'm just letting the clipper work for me, letting it glide on the skin. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. You know, the same technique, same steps as we did on the other side. Make that first guideline with your liners or whatever barbers you're going to use. You know, same setup for as, you know, to make it even. The measurements of to the eyebrow and to the corner of the line on the side. So that's how you make an even taper, is by, you know, that's how I do it, by looking at the eyebrow and the corner of the lineup. So that's how I make it even. You know, you don't want those. You don't want either side to be uneven or one, you know, tighter than the other. So you want to make it both even. Practice that, you know, and try it out. See how it works for you. So remember, line it up with the eyebrow and the corner or the bottom sideline. And for you new barbers or barbers that's learning, and I will always say this because it's very important, you don't want to leave nobody scabbed up by pushing too hard. I'm barely tapping it with my modified GTX, you know. So with that being said, find an experienced barber that can adjust your blade for you. You know, go to your local barber shop and just let them know your situation, you know, because I'm barely tapping it with my liners. And, you know, you don't want your client to be bleeding or nothing. That's how you lose a client, you know. But, you know, it's all learning, and I'm just trying to give you a heads up before it happens. So now I'm preparing for the lineup. You know, it's very important to have a straight lineup and to have a fresh lineup. So with that comes, like, just from fading, you got to prepare it. So I'm preparing it by knocking down the bulk, you know, to get it where I want it to be at. And this is just through experience, you know. And you can see how my comb separating the long hair from the short hair that I'm cutting. Or I use my finger, but it's usually my comb, so that way I just won't cut longer hair that he's growing out. You know, you don't ever want to cut somebody's long hair. So you always use a comb to separate it. Now I'm going against the grain. At first I was going with the grain to get the bulk down, but I can see it needs more. And I'm always make sure I'm combing it out, you know, comb out the hair, make sure you get that design look that you want. Just be gentle with it. You don't gotta push super hard. I'm just barely, you know, going over it. And now I'm spraying my spray for the lineup. It makes it real crispy. It's kind of like a holding spray, you know. That's what it is, the holding spray. Now I got my modified GTX. I'm just barely tapping, going over the lineup. You know, getting that look. You don't want to ever push somebody back either. So I'm just barely gently pushing on it, and I'm using my fingers as a kickstand to make my hand steady. You know, so that's very important to use your finger as a kickstand to make your hand steady. So don't be afraid to rest your fingers on your client's forehead just to get that perfect line. And you don't want your hands to be all shaky and stuff. So that's why I use that for that. That's a good technique to learn. So remember, just use your fingers as a kickstand. Just go over the lineup, you know. So now I'm moving towards the beard. You know, I'm about to fade it and just line it up. So I got my wall 5-star cordless, and I just got the lever closed, making that first guideline. Now I'm opening it and just going down a little bit more, halfway. You know, so it's a lot of back and forth with my lever. You know, just to get to learn that and practice on someone that you close to that understands that you're just starting out with. And now I got my 0 guard on, and I got to open. Now close. So you're going to see a lot of open and close and halfway. So that's going to be important with your lever. Now I got it no guard on, you know, going back and forth, making that blend nice and tight. So it could be kind of matching with my taping in a sense. You know, you want a nice good blend just if you're fading the haircut. You know, it's part of the haircut. So get that nice blend, knock that bolt down with my number 1 guard now. It's closed. And just preparing it for the 0 or, you know, no lever. I mean, no guard on. Now I got my modified GTX and about to just line up my client. It's important to have them position the head wherever you want it to be positioned at for your comfortability. And that's how it was comfortable for me, how I had it positioned. So don't be afraid to take control of your client's head and just, you know, it's for the better for his haircut. So you can see the definition of that line already, how much it makes a difference. You can see the fades popping in, you know. Using that corner of the blade at the same time, the whole blade itself, to get that that sideburn going. You can't really see it, but once you use that straight razor blade, you're gonna see it a lot. And I'm barely tapping on the side of the neck also. Now we'll focus on the bottom of the beard, you know, which is the neck area. It's always important to be really sensitive just because the neck is just a sensitive area, you know. So, you know, just doing that beard lineup, just barely tapping it. You can see the definition already. Now I'm using my Topic hair fibers. You know, it's just an enhancement for the hairline. You know, this is all for just you guys to learn. You know, I could do it obviously without the enhancements, and you guys could see how it was already defined. But this is just, you know, for you guys to learn it. So that's how I did it with my my hair fibers. Just use a card, you know, just spray it lightly. You don't gotta pack it with a bunch of hair fibers. Now I moved on to my straight razor to finish off the haircut. And you can see how much definition that beard is with the straight razor. You know, it gives you that final touch on it. I remember to stretch the skin. Use that straight razor at a diagonal. You know, that's how I use it. And just practice that. It's hard to explain, but everything's going to happen in time through experience. You know, you don't got to push super hard just to get that definition. So the razor's working for me just as the clippers was working for me. So stretch the skin, you know, just barely tap it with that razor, and you're going to be good. You can see how defined the blend is of the haircut and the lineup. Now that's money right there. That's how you get money for quality haircuts. You know, that's the final cut. That's how you do a high ball taper with a number 1 guard with the beard faded and lined up with enhancements. You know, so you can see it's a defined haircut. My client's happy. Everybody's gonna be happy at the end of the day if you're going to provide great service. You know, so haircuts and quality, that's very important. And just stay consistent. learn from these tactics, practice them, you know, don't give up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and just gonna keep learning and growing as an individual, you know, especially in your career.